Hey everybody, how we doing today? Happy Thursday. It's your girl Siobhan. I am happy to be online talking about my new children's book, Fearless 21 Affirmations to Build Bold and Confident Girls. And I'm so happy to have Nikita Ross on, who is a leader of the Fearless Female Forum. And so I look forward to talking with her today on live about her journey to fearlessness. So she is on her way in the room so we can start our chat. Okay. All right. She is on the way. There we go.
Good afternoon.
Hi. How you doing, Nikita?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing so well. Thank you so much for jumping on with me today. I know how busy you are, so I really appreciate your time today.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Okay, awesome. So just to kind of run it back, we have a very small connection. We both went to Ailey Tastings
Yes.
high school together. Yes. And I know someone that you know mutually, Gloria Young. So
Yes.
I know her. So there's a very small connection
That's a big
between us.
connection.
But
Gloria Young is a big connection.
she's like family, right? She's
No,
family.
she is family. Like I've been knowing Miss Gloria since I was 12. So yeah,
Oh my
that's a
gosh.
big deal. Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So long time family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so grateful for you talking to me today because I recently wrote a children's book entitled Fearless. And I know that you are all about fearless in your life and you
Yes,
have
I
the
am.
fearless female. And I thought that you would be a wonderful person to talk to about how you have overcome fear in your life to do some of the wonderful things that you have done. Okay. So
Okay.
we have just a few questions on the hot seat. So I'm going to kick them out as fast as I can. I can't wait to hear your responses. All right.
Okay.
So tell me a time when you felt the most afraid and why.
The time I felt the most afraid was when I broke
Mm-hmm.
my wrist. Not actually breaking my wrist, but the healing time. The healing time, being off of work for 3 months, being
Yeah.
still. I'm not accustomed to being still.
Mm-hmm.
Want to know how many clients I was gonna lose. Wanted to know if my
Right.
hand would be the same because I work with my hands.
Yes.
That was a very fearful time because it was so many unknown variables that I couldn't
Absolutely.
control. And so
Absolutely.
that was one of the most recent fearful times I can say.
Okay. Okay. Now, how did you, Nikita, in that time when you were going through your healing process, how did you overcome that fear? How did you really work through that? Because you know that, you own one of the largest salons in Houston, one of the most successful salons. You are a hairstylist. So that's what you do. So how did you overcome that fear?
I just started channeling my energy and I started thinking about like, okay, if your hand is not the same when you go back to work, what
Mhm.
can you do? What can you
Yeah.
do? And so with that being said, I enrolled in cosmetology school to be an instructor.
Okay.
Because I was like, you know what? I've done hair ever since I was 14. This is the only
Mhm.
professional job I've ever had.
Mhm.
This is my
Yeah.
trade. This is my skill set. So I knew even if my hand wasn't right, I can be an instructor. I have so much information and knowledge in this industry. And so I made sure I went back to school after I healed. That was one thing.
Okay.
Another thing I thought about was what other ways can you generate revenue? If my
Yeah.
hand didn't heal properly, what were some other things that I could do? So instead of
Yeah.
focusing on the fear, focusing on the unknown, focusing on the
Mhm.
solution. That's what I did.
Absolutely. Listen, I love that you said that because you said that you look to see the other things that you have talent in, that you sought to really maximize the other talents that you have and to capitalize on those. And you didn't allow that injury to stop you and to prohibit you from moving forward. So I love that you use fear to pivot and to find another source of income, another way that you can be beneficial to your community.
Definitely. Definitely. And I
I love
always say
that.
when it comes to fear,
Mhm.
we all are fearful people. Everybody. If you say you're not scared ever, that's not true.
Mhm.
You're not being honest.
Mhm.
Every human
Mhm.
being has a fear factor, something that they're afraid of, right?
Right.
But I always
Right.
say that fear does one of two things. It either stagnates you or motivates you.
Come on. That's a
You
word.
know,
That's a word right
that's what
there.
it
Yeah.
does. And so I try to channel that energy instead of being paralyzed. I try to let that fear move me instead of making me pause.
That is huge. And I think that that's something that we can all benefit from. Now I have a question from that. This is not on your question list.
That's
When
okay.
did you when did you become when did you change your mindset concerning fear? So you said you can either use fear to stop you or to motivate you. Have you always stayed in that mindset, or is that something that has come along at a certain time? When did you feel that?
I always tell people I definitely appreciate my mom for that. I've
Mhm.
never seen my mom afraid of anything, you know? I've never
Yes.
seen it. Not that she isn't afraid of things. I've just never
Mhm.
seen it. And I've always seen my
Got it.
mom be so solution oriented, problem
Mhm.
solving, making it happen.
Mhm.
So I had a great role model, right? And so because I had such a great role model,
Mhm.
I'm not afraid of risk. I'm not afraid of facing my fears. So I've pretty much been like this all my life because the person who modeled in front of me.
I love that. I love that. And see, for me, I can say it wasn't always that. I didn't always see that model of risk taking and being bold. And so that was one of the reasons why I felt compelled to write this book, because I want young girls who may not have a personal example in their life to know that, yo, you can kick fear out the door and you can do whatever it is. You can be bold and confident and do anything that you want to do in your life. And you don't have to allow fear to stop you.
And it's funny, that you say that because
Mhm.
we need that.
Yeah.
We need that. People
Yep.
need that. And because even though I'm this way, I work in a hair
Mhm.
salon and I work with women every day. And I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I've been doing hair since I was 14. I know I have encountered thousands of women
Yeah.
over the last 28 years, right? And when I
Mhm.
talk to women who look so well polished and put together,
Yeah.
and when we sit down, we talk about fear, I'm like, oh my God. So
Yeah.
that is how I started the Fearless Female Forum.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
kept hearing these fearful conversations in my
Mhm.
chair that were
Mhm.
paralyzing people from their dreams, hopes, and visions.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
how that manifested. So no, we need that.
Yes. And I think the earlier, Nikita, we start, the more we can see greatness coming from our young
True.
girls. The earlier
True.
we can encourage them to go for it, the greater things that they can do. And so they don't have to start, like in my case, in their 20s. They can be like you in their teens, doing amazing things and doing great things regardless of how they may feel or how fear may be a part of their life. And
Right.
for me, I encounter a lot of active older women. And it's amazing, Nikita, to see even women in their 60s and 70s afraid to learn how to swim, or afraid to get in water, or afraid to, have never traveled outside of their sphere. And so
Mm-hmm.
fear, I heard something today that said fear can be an idol. We can actually bow to the spirit of fear, and we don't want that. We want people to be fearless, to just go forth and do everything that they want to do, and even more, exceed their expectations. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's funny that you say that about the 70-year-old. Another great example I had was my grandmother.
Mm-hmm,
My
mm-hmm,
grandmother has always been a forerunner,
mm-hmm,
a trailblazer, always been ahead of the game. And right now, my grandmother's 83. Know how to use Instagram,
mm-hmm.
Facebook,
What?
know how to use her cell phone. And one thing about my grandmother is she's always a student. She's not
Yeah,
afraid of learning.
that's powerful.
When fear really sets in when you close minded sometimes too.
That is
When you're not
powerful.
open to new ideas, when you're resisting change, right?
Yes,
And so
yes.
my grandmother, we bought her an iPhone years
Mhm,
ago.
mhm,
About I'm talking about like 10 years ago.
mhm, mhm,
And my grandmother kept saying, baby, I got an appointment. I got an appointment. I kept saying, where? At
mhm.
the Apple Store. I said, what you going to the Apple Store for? She was going to the Apple Store once a week to learn how to use her phone properly.
Look at that. That's
You get what I'm
wonderful.
saying?
Yeah,
Because instead of being afraid of it, afraid of
yeah.
using her phone, she found a solution.
That's it. That's it. And I think that we can do that. Instead of being afraid, we can get all the information and education that we need so that we don't have to be afraid.
True.
So
True.
I think that knowledge and education and all consistent learning will help us in not feeling afraid. I agree 100%. 100%. Okay, next question. So what is your fear factor? What is the thing that causes you to be afraid? So some people it's speaking in public. Some people it's, what approaching different people that they don't know. What is the thing that causes you to get a little bit concerned? What is that thing?
Being broke. I don't want to be broke. I'm being
Nikki,
honest. I do not. I mean, that is my fear factor, and that's why when my head
listen.
was, no, that's for me. It
Hmm.
ain't speaking in public. It's not meeting new people. It's not learning new things. The
Hmm.
only thing that I'm afraid of besides being broke is roller coasters.
Okay. Okay.
But you know what I mean. But like a
Yeah.
real like life thing is being
Hmm.
broke. That's why
That's
I go
real.
hard. That's why I hustle. So when my wrist broke, it stopped my hustle. And
Yeah.
that made me realize, okay, now it's time to use your mind instead of your hands.
Come on. That's a word too. Yes.
Use your mind instead of your hands. You've been using your hands all this time. Now God is challenging you. How are you
Yes.
going to make money using your knowledge that you have in your brain?
That's
And
good.
so that was a pivotal moment for me to
Yes.
maximize. Now I have multiple streams of income instead of only having one.
Right. And you let the fear of financial strain, you let the fear of financial strain drive you to learn a new skill set, to seek to do something differently than what you've always done. And I
Yep.
think that's huge too, because sometimes in Keith, I think people will use fear to stop them. They'll say, wait, I'm gonna lose this, I'm gonna just lose this and try to figure it out. But you use that fear. You use the fear of your finances changing to push you to become an instructor, to push you to develop other streams of income. And I think that's a word for us in this age. We can take the fear that we feel and use it and pivot it so it can benefit us in a greater way.
I always tell people, let the fear fuel you.
Yes.
Let it be the fuel so you can say, you know what, I faced my fears, I overcame this.
I love that.
Let the fear challenge you.
I love that.
That's what it does. It should do.
I
Not
love that.
paralyze you, not leave you
That's it.
stagnant.
That's it. I love that. I love that. So, next question. How has being fearful impacted your most important decisions and why? Or has fear impacted any of your life decisions that you've made?
And like I said, the fueling part, yes, because it has caused me, it has given me that drive and that motivation that I need. Like, you can do this. You
Yes.
can overcome this. You can make this possible. I'm
So,
such a competitive person.
yeah.
I am. I'm very competitive, and not competitive with people.
Yeah.
Competitive in a way of want to win, want to excel, want to do better.
Yeah.
And so I just cannot let fear win.
Yeah.
So fear really impacts a lot of my decisions, a lot of part of my success, a lot of things that I do in my everyday life. Because I'm like, fear is not about to win.
Yes. That is good. So fear is a motivator. And we said this yesterday. We said that yesterday, that fear is a motivator. The scarier it is, probably the greater it's going to be. And I'm sure, Nikita, when you were getting ready to start the Fearless Forum, that you were afraid. How did fear impact you in developing your business and developing Icon? What role did fear play in that? Or did it play?
So the crazy part is I'm a visionary. I've taken a lot of tests. I'm a visionary. I see things before other people see it. My part, the part that gets scary is when people don't see my vision.
Yes.
So that's my fear. What they don't see my vision. What they don't see the big picture. That's the scary part for me. It's not creating the idea, it's the executing and making other people buy into it.
Okay. Gotcha.
People seeing what I see, seeing the potential, seeing what could happen, seeing the inevitable. That is the fear. What if they don't see what I see?
Yeah. But I think that the powerful thing is that you have so much belief in your vision, your idea, that you can win them to your vision and you can get them to adapt to what you are seeing, what you see. It's powerful to be a visionary. Everybody doesn't have that gift. And so when you're able to see what you want to see, what you see for your children, the future you see 20 years from now, and you're able to implement and execute that, I think that is huge, getting other people to follow into what the vision that you see for yourself and for your business. To have a successful business for so many years, you just celebrated your 18-year anniversary. For you to start different businesses, it takes vision to do that. It takes forward thinking. It takes seeing something from its infancy stage to the future. It takes that, and I think that being fearless is a huge component of that. Because if I said, hey, I'm about to do this business, but I'm so scared that other people may not receive or understand what I'm doing, I could stop at that point and not use fear to pivot. And Nikita, I have done that before. I have allowed fear to stop me and not propel me forward.
Oh, but we all have. I would be lying if I say that every single time I move forward.
Yeah.
There have been a few stagnant moments, where I'm like, I'm not sure, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, let me talk about the Fearless Female Retreat.
Yeah.
Fearful that Mexico is too much.
Yeah.
It's easier for me to do it at home.
Yeah.
Mexico is gonna be overbearing. To take it abroad, I'm not gonna be at home. I'm not gonna have my resources, which will be my crutches, right?
Right.
And so I was so fearful of going to Mexico. And people wanted me to do the retreat in Mexico last year. I'm like, I'm not ready yet. So this year I decided to take wings, take flight, and make it go. So don't get me wrong. Sometimes fear does make you second guess and overthink, overanalyze.
Yeah, yeah. But you're still doing in spite of.
Oh, I
That
am.
is
I'm
the
going.
thing.
I'm going. It
You
was a
going anyway.
delay. It was a delay, but we're not denying it.
We're not denying.
Access granted.
I love that. So tell me, what would you tell? And again, your answer will be probably a little different than some of the people we've had on the call.
Okay.
Is what would you tell your younger self when you felt that fear? How would you tell your younger self, don't be afraid, push forward, do whatever you want to do? What would be your message to young women? What would be your message to a young girl coming after you about how to overcome fear and pursuing their goals?
I have children.
Mm-hmm.
So, for my young self, for my children, I always say, everything you need is already inside of you.
Come
Every
on.
single thing,
That's
I
so
believe
good.
it. Everything you need is already inside of you. And so what happens is, it's inside of you, right? And so the things that you lack, because they see good in you, people gonna gravitate to you. Whatever you're lacking, they're gonna add it to it. That's
Yes.
what I know. Just
Yes.
be genuine, be pure, but everything you need is inside of you. And so once you believe that you're equipped, you're enough, you're capable, and you're able, you can do anything. When I say anything, even things that you're not even really qualified for,
I
even
love
things
it.
that you don't have a resume for,
I love
even
it.
things that you're not even educated enough for, but you just gotta believe it.
I love
Everything
it.
I need is inside of me. I mean, that's what I tell my children. You have everything you need inside of you. You are enough, you're able, you're capable. And so that's what I would say.
Now, Nikita, listen. So I know you're a hairstylist. Okay. I know that that's what you do. But I'm just saying, based on the conversation today, if I were to sit in your chair, I would low key think you're a therapist. I would low key think you are like a 100% encourager, because I'm supposed to be on here interviewing you, and I'm over here getting a full word. I'm trying to contain myself and not
That's what I'm here
shout,
for. That
because
is what I'm here for.
you are such an encourager.
Thank you. Steve Harvey said it best. What you do for a living, is what you do for a living.
Yeah.
But your purpose will create your passion. And my passion is encouraging. I never knew that when I was behind the chair, but over the years, I realized I was more of an encourager than a hairstylist. And so that's what Steve Harvey said with his platform as a comedian. He said, comedy allowed him to have access to really, really encourage, inspire, and have a platform
on a greater scale.
Exactly. And I feel the same way about hair. Maybe not on that scale, but doing hair allowed me to touch so many people, tap into so many talents, and also encourage so many people who needed a positive voice at that moment, at that time.
Right.
So I never knew that this would be my gift.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's my gift. This is my gift. I own it. I believe in it. And anytime I come in contact with people, I want to leave people impacted.
Yes.
Inspired and encouraged. That's how I want to interact with people. I don't want to leave people drained and second guessing themselves.
Right.
So thank you.
Yes. Pouring into others. That is huge. And that is part of the reason why I wrote my book, Fearless 21 Affirmations to Build Golden Company. Girl, thank you so much for getting it and supporting it. So you can actually purchase it online on my website, ShavonLeBlanc.com, or on Amazon. So I really appreciate your time, Nikita. I know how busy you are. And I just thank you for the words of encouragement that you've spoken into us today on this live. And I can't wait to continue watch you do great things in the Houston community and beyond.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And this will not be
awesome. Thank you, Nikita. Have a blessed day. I appreciate you.